You all are having a beautiful day. I might actually go for a little walk in the midst of this video, but coming online tonight, I just wanted to talk about law enforcement, the criminal justice system, and some of these corporate institutions that exist currently during this time in 2024. Now, a lot of people from many different races, although predominantly it's been people of color and African Americans, many people have been dealing with law enforcement for a long time. When different people speak up about these institutions and begin to tell the truth about these institutions, a lot of times people like to gang up on them. What I mean is they'll create political systems and they'll create political parties and they'll create concepts so that when people who are oppressed and start to speak against police brutality and police violence, they'll say things like, oh, you want police reform and oh, you want to defund the police, but that's not true. And what I'm starting to notice is if you pay attention in this day and age, if you look at a lot of police audit videos, while a lot of them may not be as brutal as African American ones, some of them are. They are killing Caucasians now and basically treating them like criminals. And so I wanted to give a shout out, rest in peace, Sonia Massey, what just happened to her. And there was also a story, I just shared it in my community page. There's a story about there's a story about a police department who was using African American criminal targets as target practice. When I say target practice, I'm talking about at the gun range. They had pictures of African Americans dressed in scullies and in hoodies and sagging and leaning, and they were using those pictures, as targets for police training video or police training. And the video that's in my community section, I just shared it. But the thing is, a lot of times these powers, like these huge police departments and these huge military powers, what they're doing is they're controlling the people, the public, and the people that they don't align with, that have no power, can do nothing about it. Like you'll see in a lot of movies and television shows, they'll be like, oh, I'm going to get my lawyer, or oh, law, lawyer this. The general public cannot afford lawyers. The minimum wage is still $7.25 federally. And a lot of states up north is turning into 15. But how can somebody have $7 minimum wage and survive out here? That's like basic food money. That's like almost less than food stamps for a lot of people. And so people are starting to rise and they're tired of the system. Because if you pay attention in like the 40s and 50s, that all you needed was single income and this and that, and the wife stayed at home. But now, because of inflation, and inflation is caused by these corporations, I'm telling you it is, because what ends up happening is these bosses and these CEOs and these different products cost more and more and more, and they get paid more and more and more. So then what they do is they don't want to print more money, because then it'll be like a situation in Japan and China where they have millions of zenny or whatever it's called. So they don't want the money to become less valuable than what it is, so they don't print anymore. And then they basically just hoard all the money. You hear these CEOs making millions and millions and 20s of millions of dollars and bonus checks, while people are starving to have enough gas money, rent money, lights. It's not about rate, although there is still a predominant system of racism. It's not all just African Americans. Other people are affected by this too. And so what I'm trying to tell people is we have to start coming together. We can't still go by this left and right and up and down and red and blue and, oh, they're Chinese or commie or Japanese, or, oh, they're this and that. No. Or commie Russia and Middle East, this and that. No. All that is just publicity to get us to continue to fight each other. And so law enforcement needs reform now, because it's still like a system of slavery. I watched in this video with Sonia Massey, where they asked her, where's your ID? And she said, I don't know where my paperwork is. And one of the officers slipped up and said, I don't need that right now. And then the other one was like, oh, what does that mean? They're still treating it like it's a system of oppressed slavery. They're still beating down the poor Caucasians and the people that do try to rise to help us. And so what I suggest is stuff like this. It might sound cliche and cheesy, but the Underground Railroad. We have networking and systeming now. YouTube pages, YouTube communities, Facebook communities, Discord communities, where we come and rise, meet different people in communities that have different power. Some people may be lawyers, some people may be really educated and good storytellers or good tellers of history and whatnot. Because even if a person has a bunch of knowledge and information, if it's boring, nobody wants to sit through a 2-hour class like, well, the not this and that and blah blah civilization and the Greeks and the five blah. They want to be able to hear it in a way that they can understand and follow along. And so corporations, this shit is now. Y'all corporate control and the way y'all lobby for these different laws and stuff to be passed. You senators and people in Congress and different presidents and governors and all these other people that are being lobbied and paid and bribed. All you different corporations that are funneling money through your religious institutions. If Trump can sell Bibles in a place where there's separation from church and state, then we're going to start, and we need to start taxing churches. I read statistics where they make almost $1 trillion a year combined in revenue. And not only that, they're giving billions and billions to Ukraine and Israel. For what, I don't know, because it doesn't make sense to me. Then, after all these trillions and billions being fucked off, for religion, really, then they have the nerve, after giving $5 trillion out total because of stimulus checks for a disease they said wasn't real, or a virus the Republicans said wasn't real, predominantly a lot of them, and was telling people to go out and do whatever you want without masks. Then they had the nerve to give out $5 trillion to 475 million Americans. 22 million Americans, 5 trillion divided by 22 million traditional African American adults is 275,000 each. Even if you went down to the 1.9 trillion I was talking about from before, which it was way more than that, you guys can research these things, that's still 100,000 each African American, 100,000 plus. Actually, the statistic I got, I think it was 175,000 each. But if it's 5 trillion, then it would be like almost close to 300,000 each. So this is what I mean when I say they can give out money in reparations, and COVID is a witness of that. Not only is COVID a witness of that, they was able to pay 575 million people. So why can't they pay 25 million people? There's going to be corporate reform. I will see corporate reform. I will see police reform. Anybody that likes to run their fucking mouth and talk about, oh, they need to get over it, or oh, they need to comply, woo, you have no idea who I am, and keep it the fuck up. All of y'all believe in a God, I promise you do. Fuck around and get resurrected as a black person. The same black people y'all love to ridicule so much. So, cosplay, Bible cosplay, alright, fuck with me if you want to. So, the way the police just murdered this lady who was dealing with psychosis or whatever, the woman said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, talking about the demons and whatever she was dealing with, and they shot her. So, you know what I mean? Shit needs to change. Like I said, a couple of people have been getting reparations. It will continue. They will give reparations. They will reform the police, and they will get over their old fucking Nazi-like racist behaviors. Because I've told you all before COVID, it was 1.4 billion white Caucasians. Now, after COVID, there's 750 million. People aren't looking at the bigger picture and aren't understanding the true nature of things. You know, if you take, as I've told you all before, there was Neanderthals and Denisovans. Those were different forms of Caucasians and Asians in the ancient days. What they're not telling people is they keep saying Neanderthals disappeared. No, they mixed into the populace. A lot of Europeans have Neanderthal DNA in them. So I'm not saying that to say like Neanderthals are bad. I don't know why that connotation or stereotype came out here, because they survived in the wilderness and in the freezing cold temperatures. So I don't understand it. But anyways, all police, justice, the whole justice system, judges, police, all of it. I'm sick of it. All this whole lifetime term, fuck all that. That shit over with. Because to me, it's stupid. Y'all won't give a president lifetime terms. Y'all won't give fucking Congress that. So why are you doing it for judges that control the whole fucking world? The judicial branch? Are y'all kidding me? That's the branch that needs new faces every once in a while. Maybe 5, 10 years. I don't know, 5 years maybe. I don't know. But this shit gonna change here. And then, what I'm trying to tell y'all is, until the police and all this change, then it's gonna continue to be, because, like I told y'all at first, it was the plantation. Now it's a corporation plant. And they are continually trying to enslave people with buffoonery and concepts. And so when people start to awaken and get away from this foolish system of lies and buffoonery, things can start to change. So, I'm all about peace and mercy and coming together and loving each other and growing, but there can't be no love if people are trying to destroy each other. You know what I mean? It's a basic system of control. And um, like I tell people, what the police and healthcare are doing to people is going to be reformed and changed too. Because this current system of enslaving people and treating them like garbage and pretending like it's all free, this shit, no. I'm going to expose it to the world. And actually, see, well, I tell people not to be dismayed, and I say things like Couch 2024, and I'll sit back and trust in the word and spirit. I am continually showing people that I don't have to really do anything, and I'm trusting in the Most High, like everybody loves to holler out. Because, see, people keep saying, go to the left, go to the right, get political, talk to your governors, talk to your... They're not going to talk to you people. They're going to let you talk to their secretaries or automated systems or whatever. You're gonna keep wasting your time, and they're going to keep making a mockery of it. So what I tell people is, change on the inside. Start at home. Start to love other people, your neighbors, your real neighbors, and realize that every person has their own kingdom. And so that way, when you start to realize it's not Caucasian, African American, Asian, it's the demon that does something harmful. So, you know what I mean? Telling you, Sangamon County finna be on the map for this. I don't know what the fuck that officer was thinking. He was using some very destructive language. And I made a video about this in my video section. It's my most recent video with the police shooting. So, I want y'all to stay blessed and continue to adore and stay humble and loving. Because, yeah, I feel what y'all saying about the whole, we got to fight back and woo. But you see people calling for help or being shot. And so you can't just run out there in the streets and be like, Malcolm X. We have to build something, and over time, things will change. Me personally, I'm about to change a lot of shit now. But for the people who still don't trust and believe and understand, because everything I've said in my videos have all come true. I have deleted actually almost 2 years of videos. I keep saying this. And they continually come true. So trust in me, trust in who I am, trust in that which I am. They will correct and fix this system. And everything's going to be all right. But continue to expose and shed a light, because what I tell you guys, you influencers, you people on social media, just like how there's a whole bunch of stuff in other countries we don't know about, they don't know about this stuff either. They don't know about CEOs getting hundreds of millions of dollars in bonuses. They don't know that Apple's worth trillions of dollars, but they do a lot of buffoonery and building their own structures and funneling their own money. A lot of these corporations do. I'm not just singling out Apple. They'll have trillions and billions of dollars, but then treat the general public like slaves, so to speak, in terms of wealth, because these corporations are making billions, but they're paying the employees. Like, okay, I'm going to tell you like how America works. For a long time in America, they was telling people, if you don't like your job, go to school and get more money and blah, blah, blah. Then when their children had to pay student loans and their children was trying to survive on that $7.25 an hour with inflation booming to the fucking moon, then it was, maybe we should do student loan forgiveness, and maybe we should pay more, maybe we should blah, blah, blah. You see, once other people are affected, then they want to jump on fucking ship real quick. That's why I tell y'all, life is going to be life. Nothing's going to change in one day, because that could cause shock, so to speak. So, give it patience, continue to expose things, and be on the right side of history, and tell the truth about the corruption, and expose this stuff. Because it ain't no reason Florida is making it illegal to give homeless people money and food. That makes no sense to me. Because even in Illinois, I've seen that happen in Bloomington Normal. They were arresting homeless people on the streets with signs and all kind of stuff. Y'all won't give people a way to get jobs. Y'all have these employers nitpick over who they want to hire. There's another thing that's funny about the American public and logic. Look, the American public was like, it's easy to get jobs and blah, 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 and apply yourself. Then later down the line, employers started saying, we want you to have 5 years experience out the gate. We want you to have all this experience out the gate. Then they started treating jobs like corporate jobs. Almost all jobs are corporate now. Very few people are mom and pops or self-owned. And when they hear people say we're self-owned, they're either millionaires or big corporate. I'm not talking about people trying to make it. They tell people, buy my book and you could become a businessman and all this other stuff. First of all, you could be as successful as you want to be. But if the government and state, and I'll give you an example. Even if, let's say, you're an African American or somebody, and you start a business. Actually, a business just recently over here by the laundromat shut down. Nice African American woman. She did everything she needed to, but it still wasn't enough. So you open a business, and all the people are usually going to be predominantly Caucasian. You open a business, and it's not to their catering. Who's going to shop there? If it's not something, I would witness people all the time. My baby's mama's parents said one time. They used to say, "Let's go to the ghetto Kroger's. I don't really like going there, but we have to go there." So what people are doing is they're putting labels and stuff on stuff. So you get your business, you get your license, you get all this stuff. But now maybe you have an LGBTQT business or a pro-African business or a pro-Hispanic business, and you're in a community with no support. Those people, unless you become their token whatever, are not going to support you like that. And if you are strong and have a strong will and don't bow to their concepts or community, they're definitely not going to support you. So then your business is just going to fail. It's like a web of concepts, and when you get to the middle and still can't figure out why you're not growing, it's because it's systematic racism, systematic religious hatred. So I've seen people spiritually crucify people for not bowing to Jesus, God, and Allah, the different gods. Y'all aren't supposed to be making people bow or beg or any of that. Even in the Muslim community, man, it says in many scriptures, I've heard y'all say this, that Allah chooses whom he will, God chooses whom he will. All these names, if they don't accept you, let the Lord deal with it. Even in the Old Testament, when Gideon tore down those poles, the Asherah and Baal pole, when the people came after him, Gideon dad or whoever dad said, if your God is a God, let the God deal with it. Why are y'all trying to avenge gods? Think about what I'm telling y'all. Your God is almighty and powerful, but you have to avenge him and cause death and wrath and stuff. Why? How does that make sense? Then it's you're the one doing it. Like I keep saying, me, I am, me, you, me, us. So there's got to be reform in some of these systems. Because if we don't reform these systems and change the way we think and change on the inside, like I've said in my beginning videos, then there's not going to be anything. I tell people all the time, I am who I am. I am that which frees from bondage and or binds whom I will. You shall have no gods before who I am. Do not bow to them or worship them. No idols under the earth and the heart or in the sea. Because why? And don't take who I am in vain. You know what I mean? And the other 7 commandments. So don't kill or rape. And if you read the Torah, if you read all the stuff they're talking about, they say that raping is almost as bad as, they say basically taking the womb is as bad as taking a life. I'm telling you, in certain spots it says stuff like this. So thou shalt not kill or rape, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not bear false witness or lie on others, thou shalt not covet for thy neighbor's house, honor thy father and mother. And this one, the reason why I say I don't really like keep the Sabbath holy, because it can have so many meanings. It could be the Sabbath day of the week. It could be the day of actual rest, this day and age we're in. It could be holy as a descriptive word. So yes, keep who you are pure. Keep your day of life pure, rest, whatever you want to call it. Take a day off out of the week. A couple of whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so, little bit of burning bush for the Most High. You feel me? So a lot of times where I'm at, predominantly in Illinois, I see different things happening, and I've been exposed to the police before. They pulled guns out on me twice. I've never been shot, but I am thankful because that's a blessing. But I know the system. I've been in courtrooms and courthouses. They talk to you like animals. It don't matter if you're black or white. They are mean as fuck. I'm telling you they are. You don't rise when the judge or you wearing a hat or try to bring a cell phone in. I have witnessed somebody catch a felony for recording a fight. They didn't have nothing to do with the fight, just recorded it. And I have witnessed people catch felonies for recording police during duty. In Illinois, all that, I'm a sovereign citizen and trying to record people and stuff. They will beat you the hell up, take your property, and give you a felony. So that's what I'm saying. The whole system has to change, because this individual, I'm going to be strong stuff is good for one's own kingdom. But out here in the real world, there's a system of oppression. And that's why I said people need to wake up from fairyland and cosplay land and all this bull crap and start to fix the real world. And so, you know what I mean? Life is beautiful. Life is amazing. But also in life, there's destruction and cult and heartlessness. And so then when one knows oneself and knows the aspect of light and darkness, I can become one and use what I need to survive and help others survive. Because as I've told y'all, there's a lot of different concepts out there, but if somebody's fighting to survive, none of that stuff makes sense or matters anymore. I tell people all the time I advocate for video games, mobile games, puzzles. If you go to KHAN, Khan Academy, on YouTube, and they've got playlists on all type of academics. There are people out there that try to help with legal advice and political institutions. A lot of times it's like riffraff and they're trying to make money and tell you to read books and buy their books. But there are people out there that do many things for free. Because what you guys see that's big and up and coming and all this corporate sponsor stuff, those are corporate plants. I'm telling you, they're advertising in some way, shape, or form, even if it's for political reasons or silent partners. Because I'm going to show you how a company will work. You'll have a big corporation or company, and then you'll have shell companies and minor companies. So let's say I'm an investment firm, and I got like $50 billion. Then as the firm or silent partner or how investments even work, you'll get like open up 50, maybe 100 chains of restaurants, 100 malls, 100 investment facilities. That's how it works. They gather money and hoard it and then invest it in different stuff and then have all types of investment firms. Another way to cheat the system the way people are doing, and it's ridiculous, is funneling money through churches. That's why all these churches are so huge. It's not just everyday people. It is really, but you know what I mean? That's why I tell people, when I put my Cash App and my PayPal in my description, I tell people, you know, if you can't help the Most High, if you watch my recent video, they have tried to put me in jail. They have tried to do a lot of stuff to smear my name. But none of it could last because I was pure. I didn't do anything wrong to anybody. They tried to say I assaulted an officer, and I got videos talking about this, or a security guard, because I tried to walk out of a hospital. Man, it's a whole thing. But I basically was like, yo, can I talk to a therapist or a psychologist, or not even just something, you know what I mean? Because there's all type of crazy stuff going on. Now, I've worked in healthcare for a long time, and a lot of people don't know me. I'm just a random guy. So I've been pre-nursing, and I've got an extensive education, especially when dealing with healthcare and psych care. And so I know all types of things that you cannot do in healthcare and are illegal. Involuntary seclusion, punishing people. If somebody says they don't want to do something and or don't want to go towards something, and they have their own power of attorney, which is what most people have, stuff for involuntary, you have to get a court order and all type of stuff like that. And none of that was done. Nor was I causing any problems, just sitting there on the bed talking to a nurse until somebody came to try to talk to me about something. When I said, no, you're not going to involuntary me, I looked at the nurse and said, take the IV on my arm. You cannot hold me against my will. And I came in here on my own recognizance. I cannot be involuntary. The nurse looked at me like, whoa, shit, what did you say? And flew the IV on my arm. Like she was talking to a fucking professor or something. So then all of a sudden, the lady, whoever was doing some stupid assessment, who has no power or anything, was just there. Then I started to, she's talking to this doctor or something. So before she goes and does that, she's like, you're not leaving. I'm like, the fuck, who is you talking to? I go to walk out, and she's like, don't let him leave, and gets me tackled from behind by a couple of security guards. They injected me with a sedative, and then I woke up in a jail cell the next morning, being charged with aggravated battery. I had to bond out, cost me $500, never paid me back. They tried to get me to plead for a misdemeanor, but I wouldn't do it. So all throughout when I was going through court, I kept telling them, I need the footage from the hospital. I need the footage from the hospital. I work in healthcare. There's cameras everywhere, especially in a hospital. I know there is, to protect themselves. Now, I'm going to give you an example. Every time you see stories happening where African Americans are just doing all this stuff and they say we're so violent, when have you ever seen there be no camera footage, especially inside of an establishment, a hospital, in the middle of an emergency room? So then, now all of a sudden, oh, we don't have the footage. We don't know where it went. We. So then they dropped all the fucking charges eventually. But if I would have been afraid, and this has happened to many people, and I wasn't able to be helped, then they would have locked me the fuck up and made me take the plea deal, or I would have lost the case. This is the fucking free America, free, bow to the flag, free. Go look up the lyrics to the national anthem. The real one. That says the heirling or the slave won't prosper and they will never defeat us. Go look up the Ice Cream Man song, the original one from Columbia Records. N-Word loves a watermelon. That they got children dancing to, begging for ice cream to, in these gentrified, hooded areas after destroying our real towns and cities. The whole system needs to change because like I tell y'all, let's say y'all finally do get y'all wish, y'all be like, oh, we want all the blacks gone and blah 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 and all the other races. Who do you think these corporations are going to enslave then? You think they're going to come down here and be like, oh, hello, friendly fellow Caucasian Americans? You're the ones that's next since we got rid of everybody else. I'm telling you, Trump, Biden, left, right, the justice system, all that, they don't, when they have no more oppressed people to oppress, the ones that are next in line, the middle class, are next. All these farmers, people on farmland, on land, and all this stuff. Now they don't. Corporations in China and all these other rich other people from around the world do. Did you know that immigrants are getting grants to go to college here? More than Americans. They're not keeping immigrants out, which I don't advocate for. I'm saying it's America. We all came here. But what I'm saying is they have whole Muslim towns, whole Muslim communities, Hindu communities, Chinese communities and towns. Chinatown, they call it. It's been here. They're just creating inflammatory media to make us hate each other. To sell their stories, guns. Second Amendment, we got a right for guns. I just heard a man say a wise thing. And if you pay attention to Noah, treat your animals kind. But curse Ham. They love dogs and animals and will give them steaks and everything else, but are terrified of us and are attacking and murdering us through criminal law and justice. And so, that's why I tell people, a lot of times in this day and age, sometimes people won't listen. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. But I am powerful and I can do whatever the fuck I will. And I will teach old dogs new tricks. And this world will change. I am the crown blood prince of Polish and Congolese descent. And I am going to redeem my kingdom and rule over my kingdom, just like y'all fucking book said. And nobody will ever accuse me or call me names or delusion or schizo or any of those other names, or they will pile up heaping hot coals over their own fucking head, and that which was sent towards I am will be given back to the user that's decided to play with me and my words. So, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to be here to help everybody. I have got like 260 videos starting at the word, 4 poems in the word, my lamentations and all that. You want to start from there and go up? Go ahead. But I'm telling you, I've got playlists too that help edify a lot of stuff. And I've got a lot of poems. I like poetry. And if you go to my poetry tab, you can listen to my poems. I just got another one I'm going to recite tonight. I've got gaming videos. I've got music. Whatever you guys, want to be are into. I talk about science, technology, data, spiritual things, the universe, all type of stuff. So I just want to be there for everybody and help the world change and help the world become a better place. Ye children, I do not advocate for cigarettes, even you adults. You know what I mean? So, and me personally, what I advocate for, I respect what Dr. Sebi did, and I respect medical science. So yes, he's right. All medical science is learning what the chemical composition of a lot of these herbs, plants, and chemicals are, and then grinding them into pills. So when people fight medication that are into all this herbal stuff, okay, you're kind of... And then a lot of times when people in medication fight herbal people, they're completely nuts. Because they're literally, it's the same thing in different packaging. But a lot of these chemicals and the pharmaceutical companies have been wanting money. All this Zantac and Prilosec and all this other major names and name brand stuff have been destroying people. And I don't appreciate people saying marijuana is dangerous when it's not, because of the military and them wanting people to be violent while giving people dangerous chemicals. You watch any of these commercials, especially from the 90s and 2000s, talking about we had to recall this and that. Asbestos. Did you take these medications? Did you work for this and that because of the chemicals? And when people warn about these things, like, how do you get mad at people trying to warn about global warming and changing of the climate and the climate being destroyed by the industry? It makes no sense. And then to counteract that, did you know that a lot of plant life and life counteract chemicals from the corporations? Carbon dioxide, CO2, and all these chemicals. Nitrogen and carbon dioxide is consumed by plant life. But then they're destroying all the forests and trees and creating a bunch of factories. Hanging gardens, rooftop gardens, forests and stuff like Wildlife Prairie Park and stuff. Having a duality between controlled domesticated nature and nature still being there with us because we're nature. It's called respecting nature and the world around us. They had a bunch of pyramids and structures in Africa but they still were one with nature, with Hamidics and all that other stuff. So, I just want people to start to grow in a way where we can be there for each other and help each other learn. So, I'm going to get back into the flow of the energy, into the matrix of life, if you will. So, disclaimer, I'm not saying life is a matrix. Life is real. And when you learn what's real, you can learn how to play the game. So when I simply mean that, I got my life, my chores, finding a job still, because if you watch my recent video, that's going to be hard. But I am able to do anything. And I'm still waiting on my fucking reparation. Because when I say things like I am the Ark of the Covenant, and until the Ark is returned to where it's supposed to be, when I say things like that, I'm not joking. I am the all of the law. Do unto others what you will have done to you. That's the same thing as Jesus saying, turn the other cheek, and Moses saying an eye for an eye. When somebody does something harmful to you, sometimes you got to turn the other cheek. And if you know what that means, you was being nice at first, but then they want to play with you. Sometimes when people do something wrong, there has to be justice. Blessed are the justice and peacemakers. Blessed are those who seek justice. It's basically all the same thing, just re-prettied in new names in each civilization. So, I've said over and over, to me, a couple of anointed ones are the Word and Spirit, which, like the Ten Commandments, when embodied in the Word and treated like the Spirit, it becomes the Son of Man. I'm the total, and then the Spirit stays within me like a rock to help me not be destroyed by the storm. Because when you build your house on the rocks, because what's all the law? You got the Ten Commandments, and I keep a flint knife of it in my video descriptions. I call it the Covenant. So when you pay attention to that, when you build your house on the stone and know the ancestors and the spirit, because everybody can call them ancestors. I keep telling y'all, Caucasians have Asian and African DNA in them. Caucasian is just lighter Asian, and Asian is just lighter African. So they keep talking about Pangea. It was all predominantly Africa until it did Pangea. I'm telling you, they were in the motherland, the heartland. If you put all the nations back together, like in a steady stream, and make them all connect, Africa would be in the middle. So, I'm just trying to teach people righteously. And yeah. Why do you think they call it the East and the West? What's east of Africa? The Middle East nation. What's west of Africa? What's north of Africa? Europe. What's south of Africa? You see what I'm saying? Australia and all that shit. So, don't quote me, but I think the North Pole is at the... If I'm up north, I think the North Pole is at the bottom and the South... When I say that, I'm not... The literal North Pole is up north, but the way the poles and the axis work, it's a whole scientific thing. You guys have to research it. I don't know. One of the guys you guys love so much said, never memorize something that you can look up. And I mean, sometimes it's good to have memory on certain things that are important, but you can blind yourself with too much knowledge if you're not careful. That's why also I like in the wilderness when that which I am said, enjoy the manna from who I am and enjoy it righteously, and don't be seeking all this extra stuff. I mean, you can do what you want, but you can harm yourself with knowledge if you're not careful. And I told you all, I advocate for the LBGQ whatever T. Because if I seen a transsexual man sitting in his chair in front of me crying, saying they don't got a friend in the world, and when I say transsexual man, what I mean is a man now. So if there's a woman that went through the process and is sitting in front of me and is now a man, that's gonna be my homie. We friends. I'm gonna talk to him. It's not going to be, I don't like you because you're trans. It's going to be, I don't even like saying trans now, if you're a dude, whatever. But, no, I'm going to still say it. I don't think it's fair for trans people to go and sleep with people and do certain things and not tell the truth. I tell people, I advocate for the truth. So, I respect their pronouns and stuff, and I respect people respecting them. Me personally, in my life, my kingdom, I am not going to go do that. And I don't advocate for my kids or anybody else to. But when people do, that's their life and their rules, and I'm not going to disrespect them. But I'll disrespect a racist and a murderer because I don't play that fuckhead shit. There's 6 things the Lord hates, 7 for sure. And if you find out what those are, you'll find out that it's basically everything that I've been saying and talking against. So, I want humanity to stay humble. I want us to come together. Me as an African American, really, you could say I'm like Semitic, but I'm not, because I got the Polish and all that, and then I mix with a bunch of other stuff, Native American and stuff. But predominantly it's Congo and I believe some Ethiopia, but African nations and stuff. And then there's like 11% Polish and a random assortment of Asiatic blood. So, like I tell people, I don't believe in all that racist stuff. As an African American, I love anime. Oh my goodness, I love anime. I love old historic cartoons. I love Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, all that, and predominantly that stuff. I never really was bothered by the fact that there was a lot of Caucasian characters in movies, because we only make up about, and when you take away the whole nation, there's 200 million Caucasians and 44 million African Americans. So in terms of those two ratios, we are about 20% of the population of Caucasian between African American. 25%. Yes. 25%, sorry. So when you take that into consideration, there are going to be more of them anyway. You know what I mean? So if someone's feeling hatred, I tell people that's the hatred's coming from inside, and you may have experiences, but I can't tell you how to think or feel. Everybody's got their experiences. Sometimes it's good to try to break those barriers down a little bit and get to know people. If people are causing you stress and it's not worth doing, then don't do it. That's why it's called getting to know people over time. You may get to know somebody over the course of the year and they could be messed up and you got to find some new friends or something. That's the journey in life. You know what I mean? So, especially when dealing with the outside of the T, the LGB, I don't know why people bother them. I really don't. Like, as a man, especially if every dude was like homosexual or something, or there was a lot of homosexuals and the world flipped and all this stuff happened, then I would go lion mode. I would basically have my pride. Women would be begging for straight men, so there'd probably be like 10 women. And then the gay men could be happy, the gay women could be happy, and then I could have my pride with my family and stuff. So I don't understand why people hate other communities. When you really break down the hate, there's no reason to hate a lot of people. And a lot of times it's been taught to us, because a lot of kids aren't racist, and they may say some things in ignorance, but they don't mean no harm by it. They're learning, and we never stop learning. So if we continue to grow and break those old barriers and clean out our own homes, temples, our own palaces, then we can start to interact with other people's palaces and create a neighborhood or a community, and we can all be friends. So I think I'm going to end it right there. I've done enough speaking on corporation plants. This whole 725 while apart, because it costs $750 to live in some of these one-bedroom flats. I mean, I watched a man in New York. It was like a hotel room, but it was kind of like taller than a hotel room. It was like a 2-layer, but it wasn't. He had the bigger hotel room, which was really like the size of his porch, maybe a little bigger. And then there was a couple of stairs you walk up, and that was his little bed. He had the bed right there and something else, and he laid there. And that place cost like $750. He had to ride his bike like 2 miles to get to work. He made minimum wage. It's like, dude, you guys are starving people while becoming rich. School costs hella money, so there is no, if you're paying bills, there is no, oh, I'm going to go to school and woo-woo. And then if you get grants, it's not going to be enough. They're wanting people to go to community colleges and junior colleges, and then when that happens, they want to give them these corporate positions making $7 to $10 an hour. When I first became a CNA, and this was like 10 fucking years ago. When I first became a CNA, I started off making $9.25 at a mental health facility. $9.25. And there was a couple of ADLs. There was wiping, there was assisted lifting and all type of other stuff. There was just all type of stuff you had to do, on top of dealing with all type of things that were deemed psychotic. You would be called the N-word sometimes. You'd be called all types of names, drug addicts. They're calling you drug addicts and stuff. It's like, what? So this is what I mean. Like, they're trying to give people lower positions while the elite rise. And then these lower people in these lower jobs are stuck trying to deal with it instead of being given a piece of the American pie. And so I just want to show my face, tell people hi, you know what I mean? And teach people that life is beautiful. And when you use the fire righteously, you don't burn yourself, but it becomes a light, if that makes sense. And so I just want to continue to be a blessing to people. This might not make sense to a lot of the general public, but to those who are, since they claim to have all these rabbis and knowledge and deep knowledge and the Illuminati and all that stuff, to whom can understand what I'm saying, I want my $400 million diamond on the Queen's crown that has died. I want Africans and African Americans to receive their reparations. And I want our countries and nations fixed. And if you think that $400 million diamond thing is too outlandish, I want my $100,000 a year for however many X years, and or I want my $5 million for life. So, because you guys be like, oh, that's absurd. When y'all had the chance to give every African American $300,000, y'all was tripping. So in this day and age, you came up to me and gave me 300 X for whatever me and my family line dealt with. And because when you guys talk about reparations, you're thinking, oh, you weren't a slave. Y'all don't understand anything in cause and effect. The system that was, those fucking racist Nazis raised their children, and they raised their children, and they raised their children, and now here I am in a system where they're pretending like it's free and a beauty and screaming my name. I know that might not make sense to a lot of people. And using my establishments to make fucking pies for the rich and the people that have nothing to do with my story or bloodline, while oppressing the people who are supposed to be receiving the blessing of the inheritance live. This is my fucking world. When I say that, you guys might not understand what I'm saying, but if you watch my videos, I'm not an oppressor or a narcissist. I've been talking about peace, love, mercy, everybody, no racism, fix what needs repaired. I've been saying fix the orphans, the widows, the elderly, the VA, look at my video description of who I'm telling you all to donate to. And then after you donate all that to them, if you got some scraps and change, help the Lord. They don't know who the Lord. He will have bronze feet like in a fire, bronze skin, right? Hair like wool, right? Of African, Asiatic, Congolese descent, right? Mixed with Polish blood. They'll say it has to be through the mother. My mother and her mother, my great-grandfather's from Germany or Poland, coming here from the Nazis when they was trying to kill Jewish people. Maximilian Braun had my grandmother. She had my mother. And then me. Not dark African, but still African American. Almost light-skinned, but still predominantly African descent. What did they say? Hair like wool, bronze skin, from the originators, the Alpha and the Omega. Where does Adam come from? But Atom. Africans, since before Egypt. So until the ark is returned, I am a living representation of what you all are doing to the Lord and his kingdom. I hope you all can understand and begin to spread the message. I said in my I Am video, I Am the Messiah, that it's not time yet, but now it's time. Tell people who I am. Give them the real name, JB. Because JB is a transliteration of Yahweh. And Yahweh is I Am. And I'm the one bearing the name and teaching people. So, tell people I'm here. JB's here. The blood crown prince is here. The Messiah, the king, whatever you all want to say. Because if my kingdom is not fixed, I'm going to tweak until it is. Because free will was given for almost 7,000 years, 4,000 BC. People in Judaism of German descent, of the Barnabas, are telling people it's 5,800. No, it's not. Because I didn't go and just research these things. I was living my life and a bunch of stuff happened. If you watch my videos, you'll know. And then the Spirit called me out with the word. Use my fire. Use my blessings, dreams, visions, all type of stuff. Samuel, yes, Lord. Father, did you call me? No, son, lay down. Samuel, yes, Lord. Father, did you call me? They love those stories, but then have the Philos of Greece and psychology from Germany talking about schizo and delusions and hearing voices. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. I am fucking furious, and I want my kingdom back now. And I want payback for what was stolen from me and my family line. I am the living God, and I am ready for my kingdom.